The golden morning sun cast a warm, brilliant glow over the endless expanse of the azure Pacific Ocean, where the gentle waves lapped softly against the pristine white sands of Fantasy Island. The tropical breeze carried the sweet, intoxicating scent of blooming hibiscus and fresh plumeria, rustling the emerald-green fronds of the towering palm trees that lined the shore. It was a perfect day, a day where the boundaries between reality and imagination seemed to blur into a beautiful tapestry of possibilities. Standing near the edge of the grand wooden pier, dressed in his signature, immaculate white suit that seemed to defy the tropical heat, was Mr. Rourke. His expression was a perfect blend of serene wisdom and welcoming warmth. Beside him stood his loyal and sharp-witted assistant, Lawrence, who was meticulously straightening his own miniature white suit, ensuring that every detail was absolutely flawless for the arrival of the morning hydrofoil. "Good morning, Lawrence," Mr. Rourke said, his voice rich and resonant, carrying a natural authority tempered by kindness. "Smiles, everyone. Smiles. We must welcome our guests with the utmost joy." Lawrence adjusted his lapels and offered a bright, practiced smile. "Always smiling, sir. It is a beautiful day to make dreams come true. By the way, my name is Brock, or at least that is what one of the deckhands mistakenly called me this morning. But regardless of names, the excitement is in the air. Look at that young couple stepping off the boat. A honeymoon couple, I can always tell." Mr. Rourke turned his gaze toward the elegant couple walking hand in hand down the gangplank. He observed them with a keen, discerning eye, noticing the slight tension in the woman's shoulders despite the smile she forced for her husband. "Really, Lawrence?" Mr. Rourke murmured softly. "Well, Mr. Christopher Marshall and his beautiful wife Amy have actually been married for almost a year." Lawrence blinked in surprise, his smile faltering for a fraction of a second before returning. "Oh, then it is obvious they have come to celebrate their very first anniversary." "At this moment, Lawrence, it is not entirely certain they will still be together for their first anniversary," Mr. Rourke replied, his tone shifting to one of quiet concern. "Unfortunately, Mrs. Marshall is the tragic victim of a deep memory that terrifies her, a shadow from her past that she cannot seem to escape." "Oh, I see," Lawrence said, his heart aching slightly for the young woman. "And so her husband has brought her to Fantasy Island to seek your unique help." "No, Lawrence," Mr. Rourke corrected gently. "It is entirely her fantasy. In fact, she has not told him the true reason why they have come to this island. Mrs. Marshall wants desperately to rid herself of this dark, suffocating secret before he finds out, fearing that if the truth comes to light, it will utterly destroy their future together." Before Lawrence could comment further on the heartbreaking situation, his eyes traveled to the next passenger stepping onto the wooden planks of the pier. The man was dressed in a conservative, somewhat drab suit, looking around with a nervous, hesitant expression that practically screamed insecurity. "Mr. Robert Smith, right, sir?" Lawrence asked, consulting his mental guest list. "That is right, Lawrence," Mr. Rourke nodded. "Why do I get the distinct feeling that he would be much more comfortable arriving at midnight in a completely dark place, hidden away from the world?" Lawrence mused, watching the man practically try to shrink into his own collar. "Because instinctively, Lawrence, you have put your finger right on the source of Mr. Smith's profound personality problem," Mr. Rourke explained with a faint, knowing smile. "He is a very shy man, an incredibly talented singer who just cannot, as they say in the entertainment business, let himself go. He is trapped inside his own fear of judgment." Lawrence sighed with a bit of relief. "Well, it does not sound like one of your more difficult or dangerous fantasies, sir. A little confidence boost should do the trick." "Don't be too sure, Lawrence," Mr. Rourke warned, his eyes reflecting the profound understanding of human nature that he possessed. "You see, when a person's hidden alter ego is completely released and given physical form, there is simply no telling in advance whether that ego will solve his problem or totally destroy him from the inside out." As the guests gathered in the grand courtyard, surrounded by lush tropical gardens and the soothing sounds of a cascading waterfall, Mr. Rourke stepped forward onto the polished stone dais. He raised his hands in a warm gesture of universal welcome, his voice echoing beautifully across the estate. "My dear guests, I am Mr. Rourke, your host. Welcome to Fantasy Island. Shadows of the past and whispers of the future. Later that morning, the resort was bustling with quiet luxury. In a beautifully appointed open-air art studio overlooking the sparkling ocean, Amy Marshall sat before a blank canvas. She held a charcoal pencil in her hand, her fingers trembling slightly as she stared at the empty white space. Her long hair brushed against her shoulders as she sighed, a heavy weight pressing down on her chest. "Ah, here he is now, Mrs. Marshall," Mr. Rourke's voice broke her reverie. He walked into the studio with his usual graceful stride, looking around the serene space. Amy looked up, forcing a polite smile to her lips. "Oh, Mr. Rourke. I hope I haven't kept you waiting, Mrs. Marshall." "Not at all," Mr. Rourke replied warmly. He turned to Lawrence, who had just walked in behind him, looking slightly disheveled. "Has Whiskers arrived yet, Lawrence?" "If you mean the canine, sir, he has not," Lawrence replied, dusting off his small white trousers with a look of mild distaste. "Why, you seem disappointed, Lawrence," Mr. Rourke noted with an amused glint in his eye. "Don't be. I am completely sure he will soon be here." "Yes, sir," Lawrence muttered, clearly not sharing his employer's enthusiasm for the mysterious animal. Mr. Rourke walked closer to the easel, looking at a beautiful, intricate sketch of the coastline that Amy had begun. "Did you do this? It is really very good. You have a remarkable talent." "Oh, I just dabble at it these days," Amy said softly, looking down at her hands. "But you are a highly successful commercial artist, Mrs. Marshall," Mr. Rourke countered gently, encouraging her to recognize her own worth. "Yes, I am," she admitted, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Or at least, I used to be. I haven't drawn anything of substance in quite some time." "Well, why not?" Mr. Rourke asked, his eyes filled with genuine compassion. "I hear from everyone in the industry that you are absolute excellent." "Oh, well, things were going very well," Amy sighed, her eyes clouding over with a sudden, deep sadness. "Until?" Mr. Rourke prompted softly, stepping closer. "Mrs. Marshall, do I understand correctly that you haven't told your husband the true reason for your fantasy on this island?" Amy stood up, walking to the edge of the balcony, her knuckles turning white as she gripped the railing. "Something terrible happened to me, Mr. Rourke. Something that I haven't told anyone about. Least of all my husband, Christopher. But if he truly loves you, Mrs. Marshall, he would undoubtedly want to help you solve your problem and carry this burden," Mr. Rourke reasoned. "Oh, there is absolutely nothing Chris could do about it," Amy cried out, her voice cracking with emotional pain. "See, Mr. Rourke, I know how men are. Men build a perfect, immaculate image of the woman they love, and they expect her to live up to that beautiful image forever. If that image is shattered, everything changes. Mrs. Marshall, what is your dark secret?" Mr. Rourke asked, his voice steady, providing a safe harbor for her confession. Amy swallowed hard, tears welling up in her eyes as she finally spoke the words she had kept locked away for so long. "I was raped. I know how men react to that horrible truth, Mr. Rourke, especially husbands. No matter how much they try to be understanding, they always wonder deep down inside. They always wonder, was it really rape? Did she do something to cause it?" "Not all men, Mrs. Marshall," Mr. Rourke said firmly, his heart breaking for her. "And most certainly not all husbands. To whom did you turn for help when this occurred?" "Nobody," Amy whispered, a tear slipping down her cheek. "See, I just tried to completely push it out of my mind. I buried it deep down. And for a while there, I really thought that I had succeeded. I genuinely thought that I had gotten over it and could move on with my life." "Until?" Mr. Rourke asked. "Until I started getting these horrifying phone calls," Amy shuddered, wrapping her arms around herself as if a cold wind had just blown through the tropical paradise. "Phone calls?" Mr. Rourke inquired, his eyebrows knitting together. "He never said a single word," Amy explained, her voice trembling with raw terror. "But I could hear him breathing on the other end of the line. I could hear that heavy, awful sound, and I knew instantly it was him. You see, the night it happened, he was wearing a dark ski mask, so I couldn't see his face. I don't know what he looks like. But I remember his eyes. Oh God, I will never forget his eyes. And during the assault, He kept whispering to me over and over again, "You want to make love to me. You want to make love to me." Amy shook her head violently, covering her ears as if she could still hear the terrifying whispers echoing in her mind.